Let's say it goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court now declares some provision of the Federal Reserve System unconstitutional. What happens at that point in time? Well, that provision can no longer be enforced. What takes its place? Nothing. At that moment, nothing takes its place, because the Supreme Court can declare some provision in the code unconstitutional, but it can't put something in its place. The Supreme Court has no legislative authority. It can't put an appendix to its opinion saying this is bad, but this is good, and we're now putting this one in its place. And it also can't tell Congress what to pass. It might advise in the opinion and say, well, if this statute had been written such and such a way, it would perhaps be constitutional. But it can't direct Congress to change that, fill that hole, change that void. So what then happens? The markets wake up on Monday, the opinion is given on Friday, the markets wake up on Monday in chaos. Nobody knows what's going on. First, the banks can't operate because some important part of the structure has been taken away from them. Congress hasn't passed the statute. Congress is a Tower of Babel. How long will it take them to pass a statute? What will it look like? All right? You see the problem? So anyone sitting in the judicial system faced with one of these cases is going to say, I'm not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole, because the only thing I can do is create chaos here. And I don't even want to suggest that this might be unconstitutional, so we don't hear these cases. At least at the Supreme Court level, we avoid them. We deny writs of certiorari and they go away. All right? Lower courts dismiss them on these other grounds, but most people don't pay attention to lower courts anyway. You know, we know what they are. Right? They're not, it's the Supreme Court that decides. Okay? So you'll never see a case challenging this system, because they understand the consequences of messing it up. They don't have the power to correct the problem, so the only thing that they can do is make the problem worse. Well, that's also the reason, I think, why you can expect that Congress is not going to correct the problem. Besides the fact that they're more or less in the pockets of the banking class and the high finance classes, the bailouts demonstrate to us. Right? The bailouts didn't come to us, they came to them, right? To float this system, continue it in operation. They have the problem of the question of what do we put in its place? And this is not merely a political problem, this is an economic problem. How do you introduce a new currency system from the top down? How do you write a statute in Congress that changes next week the entire currency of the system, which is now running on the basis of the Federal Reserve note? Imagine how that would be done. Well, it probably can't be done, because no sooner do you write that statute than the market is going to react to that statute, probably in a negative way. And the international markets don't care about negative or positive. They don't owe anything to Congress. They're going to do other things. And all sorts of economic chaos will break out as the consequence of that statute being passed. So it can't be done that way. So now they've put themselves into a real box. And this is why the bailouts are going on. Because the bankers say, look, we have you by the throat. If you don't give us what we want to maintain what we have here, even though it's going into the pockets of these CEOs and others, and it's being looted, this whole system will come down, and you can't put anything in its place. So we have you right where we want you. You are a hostage to us. And therefore, here's our hand, fill it. And what can Congress do? Because what's the consequence? If they don't act, the system could come down. If they do act contrary to what the bankers want, the system could go into chaos. Then you have social upheaval, and we'll get to that later. That's a Homeland Security problem. That's what they recognize. They are the woman riding the tiger. There was a young lady from Niger. She rode on the back of a tiger. She came back from the ride with the lady inside and the smile on the face of the tiger. Right? Remember that story? Huh? All right. So there's another expression. You know, if you go to the law, you take a wolf by the ear. All right? Well, maybe you heard that expression. But this is the situation, Congress. It has a wolf by the ear. It's riding the tiger. And it can't afford to get off the tiger or let go of the wolf, because it will be the first one consumed. All right?